Oh, hey. Hey, there's Steven right here. I'm introing Steven. I didn't want to. He just told me I need to intro Steven.
Right
How
away.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
There's Todd over there. I'm being told I have to do
Hi,
this.
diddly ho.
Except that's still on Steve. There's Todd. And then here's Dan.
Oh, jeez.
And now back to me to start the show.
Give a second for lower thirds, the intro.
Oh, I didn't know there were lower thirds.
Yeah.
I've never seen the show before.
I know.
Exactly.
Jared Polin, Frono's Photo.com, and welcome to RAWtalk episode number 252 with shocking, and when I say shocking, I mean absolutely not shocking news coming out of Photokina 2018. Some is interesting news. I just needed to use a title to shock the shit out of you to get you here. It's not really true, but it is true because you're here, hopefully.
I'm shocked.
As always, I already introed you. You just sit there, Stephen. I'm just kidding.
Yep,
Thanks.
I'm just
sit
kidding.
there.
As always, Frovertime, and by always I mean like the last month, Frovertime will be coming at the end of the show. So that's where we get to talk to you guys who are watching live. If you're listening at home, you don't actually get to hear Frovertime. You have to go back onto the YouTubes to do that. Why are you looking at me, Dan? Oh, he gave me a thumbs up. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Are you good?
Are you sad that you're not in Photokina?
I was going to ask, are you happy that you're not at Photokina?
I'm very happy.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. You don't remember Crack Alley?
I remember Crack Alley very well. Right, Todd?
Oh, yeah. I'm happy not to be there to watch Jared have nervous breakdowns on the side of the Rhine.
Oh, man.
I didn't have a nervous breakdown.
Great
But
memories.
Can I
Great
just say
memories.
that, no, this is not happening live in Germany, but if you hit the German button on your computer right now, it will turn this entire show into German speaking. Ja.
Glad I got my haircut.
Ja, no, nein.
Yeah.
Hi,
Auf
Karen.
Wiedersehen. Guten Morgen.
Yes, neun,
Guten Morgen.
Aachen fucking nothing.
Whoa.
Whoa, what is that noise outside?
Like a rocket
sorry.
ship going
truck.
by.
Somebody must have I thought it was the
Squirrel.
Scheißeressen or something.
Lots of squirrels.
Anyway, there's a lot of news to talk about this week.
Ton of news, yeah.
Before we get to the news, we've got Gear of the Week because this is the Nikon Z7, or as they call it in Europe, the Z7. They don't call it the Z7. They call it the Z7.
The Z7.
Do you call it the Z? Do you go to the Z-oo-oo? It's the zoo. It's not the Z-oo-oo.
They're saying, yeah.
What?
When they
Explain it to
sleep,
me.
do they go,
Z is Z and
Zed,
everywhere else.
Zed, Zed. I don't know.
It's zoo. Anyway, so here it is. With the adapted lens, I've got a 35-1.4 on it with the adapter. I'm looking forward to using this. The only thing that I've seen with taking a RAW file right now is when I convert it with my secret converter and I bring
Top
it into Adobe Lightroom, something that's happened that's never happened before with a RAW file is happening.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
I'm talking about it.
All right.
I already put out a podcast about it.
Yeah, it's really odd.
Thank you for listening to my Daily Fro. No, we're trying to get to the bottom of it. It's not a bad thing. It's not something that's like, oh, Nikon did something and Adobe did something. It's that
It's good and bad, I think.
there's a simple solution to get around it. It just surprised the shit out of me that when I brought in a DNG file into Lightroom, my contrast was already changed and my my saturation was changed and sharpness was changed, all based off of how the
It's essentially
picture
the
style was
picture
set.
style is coming through on the Lightroom side when you import the image, which we prefer to deal with RAW. Everything's zeroed out. Start from the beginning. It's an import preset, which I don't like.
Exactly. And so the issue is that when you hit reset in the RAW file, it doesn't reset the RAW files.
It only resets it to that picture
to that
style.
thing. But you can literally go in there and drag it to 0. Now, the way around it, if this is, I don't know if it will be the same way when I put the NEF file in, when that becomes available in Lightroom. So we'll have to see. I'm talking with Nikon to figure out what it is because it seems like it's something new that they're able to do.
Now, at that point, if every camera manufacturer started doing that, if Canon did it to their picture styles, Fuji did it to theirs, etc., you'd have to make a separate import preset for each camera,
You just
which
zero
is
it out.
very annoying.
Yeah. You would just have to zero. But most people don't
Most
have
people
multiple
only have
cameras.
1 or 2. Yeah,
They're not like us, Steven.
very true.
So I just want to show you. So anyway, we've got a real world review set up.
Yeah,
Hopefully it goes well.
fingers crossed.
We've got something good that we want to do. It involves a model. It involves portraits. It involves music. It involves low light, hanging out, like everything.
Little
that I
bit of
would
everything.
normally do on a shoot. So Nikon also sent us the 35. Oh, this is the 24-70 S lens.
Yes.
S doesn't stand for silver.
What does it stand for, Jared?
Somebody said it stands for something else. I'm
What-
not
like
talking
what?
about shit. I'm talking about the other thing. Somebody said
They told us it stands for silver when
It
we were
does?
there. Yeah.
so.
Because I
other-
specifically asked that question, what does it stand for? They said S means silver, and I said, well, doesn't that mean it's less than gold? When they claimed it was better than the G lineup?
Anyway,
I don't know.
this is a 24-70 from Nikon. This is a 24-105 from Canon.
One feels a little less substantial, let's just say that.
You're used to that.
But look at the 24-70. When you actually have to,
Racket?
yeah,
I'm looking at it.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like the sound of that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the click in there, but anyway. So that is one piece of gear. We'll get to another piece later, but I'm looking forward to shooting this. I said this, if you haven't checked out my daily podcast called The Daily Fro,
What's that?
I talked about yesterday that one of my nightmares was kind of came true. You ever wake up, and I talk about this on that episode, whatever number it is, 203. You ever have a dream and you showed up somewhere and you had to shoot, but you didn't have your camera?
I've never had that dream.
You woke
no.
okay, or have you ever woken up like you forgot your ice skates and you were reffing a game, but you couldn't do it because you showed up to the rink without your skates?
I've had that exact dream, actually.
Yeah, well, I went to the hockey rink yesterday to photograph the Flyers with this.
Yeah,
They wouldn't let me on the bench, PR, they said, for insurance purposes.
I get it.
Yeah, well, I get it too. And you can't shoot through the glass because the plexiglass is plexi.
Scratched up.
Well, it's not just scratched. When you zoom through plexi, even if it was the
So
cleanest
thick.
of clean,
Yeah.
the light and
Just
everything's just
constantly
blurry.
Even all the way up against the glass
even
and
up.
everything.
Yeah, you can shoot wide angle,
Yeah.
but as soon as you zoom through it, everything just falls to shit.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, so I was watching this practice, wanting to shoot with all my camera gear, and couldn't, so I just left.
I will say, with this 35 lens on here, this
It's a
looks
lot bigger.
huge. It
Yeah.
looks huge compared to the D850, the actual lens, I mean.
It does look a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So
But
anyway,
it seems nice.
so we've
We'll
got
see.
that real world review hopefully ready to go to shoot and then get it out as soon as we can.
Did you find, I know you already set up the menu system to your liking, did you find anything really different? Or, because we didn't really have that much time when we were there trying out the camera to actually test out settings and switch things around the menu. Did you find anything really different so far? I haven't even played with it yet.
It's like any other Nikon setting it up. I just had to figure out what that clicking noise was.
You said that was the IBIS?
Yeah, here. It's so, listen, I don't know if they'll be able to hear it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was a lot of clicking noise.
That's really loud.
That's weird.
Wow, man.
Anyway,
yeah.
you can hear it turn on and off. I had to figure out what it was, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was the IBIS turning on and off. I've never actually audibly heard that in other cameras.
Scares me.
Yeah. So I heard it here. So when I hit the menu system, it clicks off, and then we get back out into the camera, it clicks back on. Because I figured it out by turning it off in the camera in the settings and then hearing what it did.
I don't think I really feel or hear Sony's IBIS turning off or on when we're going constantly in the menu or live view or EVF or anything.
You know which one I also didn't hear? The Canon EOS R. I never heard that IBIS go on or off.
Yes, yes.
Because it doesn't have one.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Funny. Hilarious.
We want to get to the news?
Yeah, there's
wanna
a
get to the
ton
news?
of news this week.
All right, let's
Obviously-
get to the news.
Obviously, Photokina happened this week, and
We weren't there.
we weren't there.
We chose not to go.
Yeah.
It was a choice.
We did go the past 2 times. You went 3 times in a row.
I
right?
went through. This would have been the 4th.
Yeah, the 4th.
Holy shit, that's a lot. That's like 8 years.
Yeah, your one buddy has been going since 1992, and this is the first year, right?
Yeah,
that
he didn't go.
Wow.
It's nice to have a choice. The last thing you would want is somebody to like force
The
themselves
question
on
is-
you and cover your mouth.
Is it worth it anymore when everything gets announced
No.
before the show, everything's online or leaked way beforehand? You don't really have to be there in person.
Todd,
at
did you
these
have
trade
fun
shows.
at Photokina when you went?
Yeah, I mean, when you weren't around, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was fun. When Steve and I were down at the bar, that was cool.
That was fun. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. I mean, I especially liked meeting all the people at the Colner Dome.
yeah.
That was fun.
All
Corner
right,
Dome.
that whole thing.
Such a sight
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, we didn't go this year, so let's get to news, Steven. The
first up-
shocking news.
The shocking news.
Hold on, it's shocking.
Shocking. Instagram founders Kevin
I didn't hear it.
Systrom.
What is it? Oh, a thunderstorm.
It's a good one.
Shocking.
But the Instagram founders, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, have officially resigned and are leaving Facebook. The co-founders' sudden departure apparently comes from a disagreement with Zuckerberg about Instagram's future. Bloomberg is reporting that Facebook officials, including Mr. Zuckerberg, clashed with the co-founders over growth tactics and how to more rapidly expand the photo-sharing app's user base.
Is it $1 billion not enough?
Apparently. Now, System says, we're planning on taking some time off to explore our curiosity and creativity again. Building new things requires that we step back, understand what inspires us, and match that with what the world needs. That's
Steven,
what we plan to do.
Look at this picture. It's shot at like f97. Everybody is in focus front to back.
And it's shot at like a weird angle, too.
Well, it's because they got everybody. And look at the big, tall guy right in the middle.
Oh, I see
and
him.
then there's a guy not even looking.
There's the bearded guy behind him, too.
And this guy's like...
There's a guy taking a selfie, too.
I
in
heard
that
they
top
were
left.
tired of Mark. Mark kept poking him, so they were like, "I'm down my."
No, they got rid of the poke. It's the wave, I think.
Oh,
It is the wave, yeah.
Even better.
They don't have the poke at all
I don't
anymore?
think the poke's there.
So creepy.
I turned off notifications.
I
on
just
Facebook.
I kept
stopped
hitting the
going.
poke button, hoping to get a Pokeball, and it never happened.
Do you guys use Facebook that much anymore, though?
No,
Nope.
I don't.
I find myself on Instagram the most, for sure.
Yep.
Twitter sometimes,
There's nothing
rarely.
on Twitter.
Yeah, I use it for news. That's about it. For a news source, and that's it.
Is that for real news or fake news?
For real news.
Oh.
On Twitter?
Instant news, yeah. Following every single news place.
I can't. It's too
It
much.
depends on
news.
who
Photo
you
news,
follow.
obviously, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always instant. That's what I like about it. But anyway, the question
popcorn?
is, what will happen to
Or
Instagram
rice?
now? Will Facebook play a much greater role now? Will
Yes.
there be a lot more ads?
No.
Will you need to use your Facebook login to now use Instagram? What will they do?
Well, that would make sense.
I assume they're going to do something like that.
Yeah, did you realize today, like I'm using Facebook, and then 2 minutes later, I went back to Facebook. I was logged out.
Really?
Everybody got logged out today by Facebook on purpose. I just read
Why?
in the news that like 50 million accounts were compromised or something,
Yep.
and they must have flicked
That's
a
great.
switch that caused everybody to be logged out. And see, it worries me when I get logged out because I'm like, I didn't do this, but they must have flicked the switch to log everybody out. Because you'll probably have to like go on your phone right now, Steven, see if you're logged in or logged out.
I see here.
If you can get it out of your pocket.
My old 6S.
Yeah.
Might take 10 minutes to actually load the app.
What's
That's
the
good.
S stand for?
I'm logged in still.
Silver.
I'm still logged
Oh,
in.
maybe you were a special person.
So,
All right, well, I got logged out.
So did I.
loser.
Dan's logged out right now, too.
Really?
But he's always logged out.
Yeah. He doesn't even know how to operate it.
But I do wonder what the initial disagreement was. Why did they leave so suddenly?
Oh, Todd, you be Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
I'll be Steve Systrom.
All right.
Hey, Mark, I don't like the direction we're going.
What's wrong?
Mark, you're being a little too overreaching, and I don't want to listen to you anymore.
I mean, but I got my hoodie on
Mark,
today.
stop.
But I
Your
have my
hoodie
hoodie on.
smells.
You don't like my hoodie?
I don't like your hoodie. I invented Instagram. You gave us $1 billion, and now we want you to shut up and leave us alone.
My bad about the Russians.
Thanks. We're out.
Then we have next up, Zeiss has announced its first ever full-frame camera that they're calling the ZX1. The new body will have a fixed 35mm
Excuse me,
f2
Steven.
lens.
That is ZX1 to you? Can you get it
Exactly.
right?
Excuse
Exactly.
me, ZX1.
But
But a
it's
fixed
pronounced Z-Ice.
it'll have a
Z-Ice. Is that like Zima?
It is.
Zima
yeah,
Ice.
Exactly.
Steven.
Sorry, guys, done?
Yeah, no, we're having a discussion. This is RAWtalk.
Fixed 35mm f2 lens, similar to Sony's RX1R camera. The outside of the camera is extremely minimalist, too, with only 2 top dials, an EVF, and barely any back buttons on the back.
I thought it had 2 top
buttons on the
dials
back.
and a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Equipped with a 37.4 megapixel full-frame sensor that was developed in-house by Zeiss themselves, the camera will have an ISO range of 80 to 51,200, shooting a whopping 3 frames a second, and it'll also shoot 4K up to 30p. Now, one really interesting feature is that the camera will actually have Lightroom CC built in, like you see right here.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
I don't know, Steven.
It's a nice step forward, a nice step in innovation.
It's
I think
interesting, but do you want to be editing on
I
your
don't-
3-inch screen?
I don't think
Or do you want to
realistically-
send the DNG file to your phone, edit it on your phone? Do you want to send it to your iPad, edit it on your iPad? Or do you want to, maybe send it to your computer and edit on your goddamn computer with a big screen?
Well, so what annoys me currently with most of these smartphone apps is that you can only send over like the JPEG image and then edit that in Lightroom.
You can
a lot
do-
of them don't let you send over an actual RAW file.
you can do that with iPhones now.
You mean shoot DNG?
You can no. You can send a DNG right over here.
But I'm saying if you shoot with your Nikon, can you send that the RAW file over to Lightroom Mobile on your phone and then edit it? it's only sending over a JPEG.
I don't know that answer,
Right?
Steven. What do I look like to you? Like I've ever used this camera?
Your Nikon, your D5.
I've never. No, the D5 actually doesn't
Actually,
have
doesn't even have
built in.
Wi-Fi built in.
That camera doesn't.
But the D850, my Canon 5D Mark IV only sends over a
I never
JPEG.
honestly turned that stuff on.
I like to use it for instant sharing if there's a really amazing photo that I shot.
You know what we learned is that if you just take a picture of the back of the camera and you keep the camera in it, it does a lot better than when you just post the picture of the picture.
That's true.
Because people like seeing the camera.
But yeah, photographers will now be able to process raw images on the fly inside this camera, and users can access the app via a giant 4.3-inch touchscreen display on the back.
That's curved for her.
It's curved.
His pleasure, too.
And it can be updated via the camera's built-in Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi functionality will now allow users to upload photos directly to the web instead of what you're talking about, transferring it to the phone or computer first.
How many card slots does it have, Steven?
I don't think it has a card slot, but what it does have is built-in storage, built-in 512 gigabytes of internal storage, enough for nearly 7,000 RAW files. And with the Wi-Fi connectivity, it can also back up to the cloud, which I really like. But I don't think it has a card slot. At least on the left and right side of the camera, there's none. It may have one in the battery door, if there's even a battery.
How much is it?
There's no price announced just yet. But the camera will be available early next year.
For
in
$5,000.
full specs, and I think it'll be, probably around that.
It's very similar to Leica.
Sony's is 3,500.
Yeah.
I think this will probably be 5, 6 maybe. But it is an interesting concept. Also, the Wi-Fi connectivity will allow for instant firmware updates, so Lightroom CC can stay up to date, because I wondered about that. But
Yeah.
seems cool. Nice
Okay.
step in innovation for once. Built-in memory, Lightroom built in. But I do wonder, what happens when the internal memory gets corrupt? Do you have to get a whole new
good
camera?
question.
Is it corrupt like the Russians came in, or corrupt in a different way?
That's
Now, if
what
they
I
gave
think.
us an external option to still record on an SD card or whatever type of media format it offers, if there is even one, that would be nice, because then you would have cloud storage, internal storage, and a card slot.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to write to both.
Well, it would be uploading to the cloud.
Yeah, but your battery life, uploading to the cloud, your data limit on your phone.
I don't know.
What's going to happen there?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
But we'll see. It's, again, no pricing announced just yet. We assume 5, 6 grand, something like that.
I bet you it's about $3,500.
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think more.
I think less.
It's Zeiss.
Do you want to make a bet?
Yep.
Because
Let's
the
bet.
Leica's not that expensive.
I think 5.
I
like
think
you initially said.
$3,422.
Okay.
What, Todd?
$1.
Oh, this isn't the Price is Right.
$1.
all right?
I'm gonna definitely win this.
So no new gear from Sony at Photokina, minus that new 24mm f1.4 G Master lens that we recently reviewed. But there was a new feature announcement introducing Animal Eye AF. They're calling it the beloved Eye AF that we all love. Will now work on animals across the board.
Will it work on my cat?
With one eye?
My cat only has one eye, Steven.
Still has an eye.
Yeah, but what if he's blinking?
Which eye will it focus on?
Yeah, I mean, that was my question. Will it detect one eye?
My cat is...
Oh.
Let's check with the Supreme Court on that one, Steven.
So wildlife, yeah, asshole. Wildlife photographers will now be able to focus on their subject much easier.
Yeah, so when that elephant's charging you, you can focus on that eye.
Starting in early 2019, a new firmware update will arrive with this new feature. And the question is, what will it think is priority when you're with your cat? Will it try and focus on your eye, your cat's one eye, Todd's one eye? Which eye will it focus on?
The brown eye.
Okay.
What are you playing over there?
It's my pets, all my pets.
Do you have a Tamagotchi over
You
there?
have like a zoo preset,
I
don't
pretty
you?
much have a whole zoo over
Oh,
here.
man. But again, I wonder if this feature will be able to,
Doesn't it work now for animals' eyes?
Kind of. It does work for some animals.
Does
yeah.
it? I've never noticed.
But will you be able to turn it off? Will
Yes.
it have human priority over animal priority?
That's interesting.
I don't know what.
And will
the
PETA
options
be
are going to
upset?
be. Will PETA be upset when Naruto? Yep.
I mean, PETA's going to be like, hey, Sony, we're not too happy that you can spot the eye of this animal, of the tiger, and we're upset.
But
We're-
now
we're
Naruto won't have an issue taking those selfies.
PETA. That's true. He'll be able to
It'll
focus
focus
right
right
on his
away.
own eye.
Him and his honey.
What's his honey's name?
I don't know. We have a picture of him, right, Todd? Naruto?
Oh yeah.
We do have a picture, yeah.
There he is.
There it is. There he is.
Oh, he
See,
does
that's
have
him
a
with the
honey.
new Sony camera.
Yeah. Yep.
That's his honey. So we got Sigma. They've confirmed the latest round of rumors that we talked about last week. They announced 5 new lenses, 4 full frame and 1 APS-C lens. The new lenses include the 28 f1.4 Art, the 40 f1.4 Art, trying to go slow for Todd, 56 1.4 Contemporary, a new 70-200 2.8 Sport, and the crazy 60-600 4.5 to 6.3 Sport. Crazy.
Yeah, of course,
Crazy.
Todd just
Crazy.
put up the 70-200 where the 60-600 goes.
Good
But
job, Todd.
while we're here,
I'm
can we talk?
literally doing them in the order that Dan put them in here.
Ah.
Can't blame Dan. He's not from
So
Canada.
Here it comes.
So when we look at the 70-200, I realized when I made the Photo News Fix last week or 2 weeks ago about this 70-200, I said that Sigma is following Nikon and reversing the rings, when in fact
They've been doing
Sigma had already been doing it, but the difference was they had a much smaller zoom focus ring in the past, so it wasn't as bad. They literally copied what Nikon was doing and put the zoom ring out at the end and made a thicker focus ring up close, which is just so bad.
Now, again, I think if you have the tripod collar, if you're actually using that, that makes sense.
I don't think
But
it
if
makes
you're
sense.
not, like most people, at least I don't use it, you don't use it, I think it's a very weird placement. It's not balanced correctly. It's odd.
And people keep saying stuff like, "Oh, but it's easier when your hand's further out." No, it's not. Look what happens
well,
to my elbow.
again, 3 points of stability. It's now becoming 2. So I don't think it works that well.
I don't like it either.
Yeah. So all of these lenses are full-frame lenses except the 56-1.4. That's for Micro Four Thirds and Sony E-mount only. And pricing and availability have yet to be announced, except for the new 60-600. That'll come in at $2,000 and will
really?
be out next month.
That's a really good image up there.
It's a great image.
Yeah.
Image coming soon.
Yeah. Now I do wonder, will they ever release like a 70-200 Art versus a Sport lens?
Is there a zoom art lens?
They have a 24-70 Art. 2.8.
Oh. But yeah, I think a
Or
70
is the Sport considered their high-end 70-200? I don't
could
really
be.
know.
I bet you it's gonna be $15.99.
$15.99.
Yeah.
Well, what's Tamron's G2? About the same price, right?
No, it was like $12.99.
Was Tamron's that?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like $1,300. Remember, it was less than half the price of the Nikon.
Not bad at all.
I think.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I may be right.
Yeah. And also the 70-200 and 60-600 won't be available in Sony E-mounts.
Which is interesting.
Only for Sigma, Nikon, Canon.
Yeah.
Everyone uses those Sigma SA mounts, right?
What's a Sigma SA mount?
Exactly. Leica has finally updated their S line with the new S3. Not that line.
Oh.
The DSLR houses a 64-megapixel medium pro format sensor, they're calling it, which Leica claims delivers impeccable performance in any lighting situation. All we know right now is that it shoots 3 frames a second with an ISO max sensitivity of 50,000, and it'll record 4K video with the full width of the sensor. And it's scheduled for release in the spring. No pricing just yet, but expected to be an insane amount of money because the original Leica S sold for $20,000.
Yes.
$20,000. Yes.
Well-
Todd, you have that slide, right?
Which one?
The price of the Leica S. Take
Oh.
your time.
Right here.
There you
Sorry.
go.
I was waiting
job,
for the
Todd.
whole. I was waiting for
$20,000.
And do you know this is a DSLR?
It's a DSLR, yes.
Why are you making a DSLR in this day and age?
I don't know.
The
Especially when you
DSLR is
have Fuji
done.
coming out with all these medium format mirrorless cameras.
It's like nobody needs a mirror, except maybe Todd in the morning. But I mean,
Yeah.
if it just flips out of the way and flops and flips, I mean, kind of like Todd in the morning, all of that.
I mean, the body design looks pretty much the same, so maybe they just didn't want to change much about it. They figured we'll get it out right away at Photokina. Let's just throw the same body together and
And we'll release
Updated
it in
sensor.
about a year and a half.
yeah, exactly.
It's like a
$20,000. That's crazy. Look, as low as $16.67 a month.
really.
Can you
Let's
imagine?
finance that.
Jeez.
Thanks, Adorama.
And then speaking of medium format, Fuji came to Photokina with everything they've got, starting with the announcement of the GFX 50R, the little brother to the 50S, coming equipped with a 51.4 megapixel medium format sensor with an ISO range of 100 to 12,800. The rangefinder style camera is much smaller than the 50S at 2.6 inches thick, and it weighs in at about 1.7 pounds, which is 16% lighter and 27% lighter or thinner than the 50S. So it is a smaller camera, not a ton smaller, but it's a decent amount. It also shoots at 3 frames a second. It has 425 AF points and shoots solid 1080p video at up to 30
What?
frames a second. You think this day and age that would never happen, but 1080p video. It also has dual SD card slots, so you can't trash it. At least it has 2 card slots.
Does it upload to the cloud, though,
It
automatically?
does not upload to the cloud. You can't edit your images in Lightroom CC.
Does it
in
have
the
built-in
camera.
Lightroom?
Just throw it out. It's not worth
Is
it.
it $20,000?
So this one will cost $4,500, and it will arrive in November. Fuji, again, making the medium format sensor
what it
more
says.
affordable.
Oh, it says
Because I think
4,500.
the 50S is about $6,000, close to that.
Yeah, and then the next one you're going to talk about is going to be like 10 grand.
And the next one, they announced a development announcement of its GFX flagship camera, which will feature a 102 megapixel medium format sensor with phase detection.
Do people actually buy these cameras?
It's
I
on fire,
wonder.
though.
I
It's
do
on
I mean,
fire,
how many of these
apparently.
could you possibly sell?
I don't know. So this is a first for medium format mirrorless cameras. This will enable subject tracking, the phase detection, and more accurate autofocusing during continuous shooting. It'll also be the first medium format camera to include IBIS.
Oh, this can change the world, she says.
This can change the world.
I was like, what are you talking about?
yeah.
How is this going to change the world?
Because it has a fog machine built into it. See?
I think it's on fire, actually. It's overheating.
It's really spooky.
On the video side, Todd, it'll shoot 4K at up to 30p and will have substantially improved video recording capability compared to that of the GFX 50S and 50R.
You're not buying that camera to shoot video.
I agree.
So just have it not even shoot video.
They claim the medium format looks a lot better with 4K video. It has a certain look to it.
Uh-huh.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah. And then speaking of the look, the overall look of the camera, it's another first for Fuji. It will mimic basically flagship DSLRs. It has that built-in vertical
Fog.
battery grip,
Oh.
which is a welcomed upgrade. I think that's great. I would
like
prefer
having
a
a
camera
grip
like
built
this.
in.
Yeah.
Canon got away from that for a while. Back in the film days, Canon used to do the 1V, and you would have to get a grip for the 1V. But then when they finally came out with the digital ones, they started to make the grips big again.
Yeah. So the official name of this, final specs and pricing and availability will come at a later date. It'll most likely cost around $10,000 with all these features, especially because that 50S costs around $6,000 right now.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a beast of a camera. We'll see what the final specs come out to be.
Speaking of money, the Ridge people from the Ridge wallet sent us some wallets that are titanium. I gave one to Dan. He's been using it. I've been debating switching my wallet over to test it out. I just like to hide a $100 bill, and it makes it harder to hide a $100 bill when you don't have any pockets. But I guess what's good about it is you pop in your cards, and it just expands for your cards and holds them tight, so it kind of makes everything thinner. I picked this one because it has the money clip on it instead of the money band. I don't like the band.
Yeah, you like the clip.
Well, because when I have all that money,
All the hundreds.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want it to stretch out the band and then all of a sudden
Snap, because there's so many hundreds.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. How much does that cost? Speaking of money.
I don't know, $79 or something.
$79.
I may be off on that, but this is the Ridge. You could go to their website. They have different versions. They sent them to us, and it's not an official plug, but I figured I would just say we're testing it out. If you need a thin wallet, because Steven's wallet is not thin.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not like I have a.
Oh, he's got a dad
Costanza
wallet right there.
or anything.
Do you still have the picture sleeves in there?
I don't have pictures.
There's his Blockbuster card. There's this.
Oh my God!
I shouldn't show that.
Did you really have your picture? I remember in the 80s and 90s when our parents would carry around pictures of us.
I have a bunch of crap in there, like my college ID card and
Why
a
is
bunch
it
of.
still in there? Because
I
your
don't
wallet's
know.
been stretched out so much that it needs to still be in there?
I put it in there like 10 years ago and never changed it.
Are you trying to get discounts at the supermarket?
Definitely that.
At the
Definitely that.
movies?
Student discount at the Apple Store.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
And then we have the big story of the week, the shocking news. You shocked?
No.
No?
Sometimes the microphone shocks me a little bit, but
A little bit. Leica, Panasonic, and Sigma have teamed up to create the
L-Mount Alliance. L-Mount Alliance. That's right. Can we hear that again?
Remix.
Alliance.
It might be a little low in the audio.
I
but-
like that.
So the three companies will come together to develop new L-mount full-frame and APS-C mirrorless cameras and lenses, previously limited to the Leica brand, like the Leica SL and a few other APS-C cameras. The camera and lens brands are hoping that the L-mount will become the new full-frame mirrorless standard mount with a 51.6 millimeter diameter and flange distance of 20 millimeters.
Which is like long for flange distances, as far as flange distances are, compared to the Nikon.
Well, the
Canon.
Nikon's 16, the Canon's 20, isn't it?
No, the
or
Canon's
18.
like 17.
Sony's 20, I
And the
think.
Sony's like 19.
I thought it was 20.
I don't know about that, Steven.
I'm pretty sure it is. So the mount will be suitable for both APS-C and full-frame sensors because of that flange distance and the diameter. Sigma will actually be utilizing the new mount in a full-frame mirrorless camera as well with a Foveon sensor next year. They say all future ILCs will feature the L mount, Sigma ILCs.
Are you having trouble with remembering ILC instead of DSLR?
Yes and no.
Because I just
I
every
do
time
find myself saying DSLR a lot.
I want to keep saying DSLR, but I'm like, but no, it's now an ILC for interchangeable lens camera.
Yeah.
And we've been saying DSLR for so long, and then we had to start saying mirrorless cameras. And
Sony's always
do we
referred
need
to
to
their
change the guide to shooting ILC?
no, we just changed it to the guide to shooting video like 2 years ago. I changed it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right.
Sony's always called their cameras ILC cameras, so I have
Ilk.
been using that term a little bit, but I do find myself slipping a lot and saying DSLR when I mean mirrorless a lot. So anyway, they say all Sigma future ILCs will feature this new L mount, giving up on its own SA Sigma mount. Although they say they will produce SA mount lenses still for the 5 people that bought Sigma cameras back in the day. Photographers who already have invested in SA mount lenses will have the option of having them converted into the L mount. And there will also be SA to L mount adapters available in the future. And more big news about the L mount alliance. Panasonic will release its first full-frame mirrorless cameras.
I don't think this
plural.
guy. First off, I don't cut back to Todd. I don't think this guy gets
What's
out
he
at all.
doing?
I don't think he gets out of the house. That he
Is
finds,
he laughing that much?
he lost it. Listen to him.
Cue the Todd comments.
It's almost as bad as when he cut himself.
I was just laughing at catching Steven in the middle of him talking. That's all.
Oh, you did.
All right,
I'm the
back.
one that gave
All right,
him
I'm
that
back.
too, and I'm like, please don't overuse it, as he's using it every 5 seconds. So anyway, they're going to release 2 cameras, again 2 next year, dubbed the S1, which shoots 24-megapixel images and is geared towards hybrid shooters, and the S1R, which shoots 47-megapixel images and is aimed at high-resolution still photography, a.k.a. basically it's the A7 III and A7R III, or the Z6 and Z7.
Whatever.
The cameras will be the first full-frame cameras to support 4K 60p internal recording. I don't know if you're happy about this at all, Todd. 4K
What?
60p. Is that
Oh,
a big
that's
thing
good.
for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Although we don't know just yet if it's going to be full frame or cropped. They kind of made it seem like it would be full frame, but I can't really tell. I assume the S1 will shoot full frame 4K, but we'll see. Geared towards videographers and photographers, the camera will feature a dual IBIS system working parallel with the lens stabilization. With nearly the same specs, they will have dual memory card slots as well, 1 XQD and 1 SD, a large high-res EVF, a 3-axis tiltable LCD, and it'll be fully weather-sealed, and there's a bunch of more specs too.
Nice.
Now, the lens roadmap looks pretty promising for the new L-mount camera, with an initial 3 lenses being available upon launch of 51.4. This is what I don't understand. They announce it's a 1.4, but then they don't announce the 24 to 105 or the 70 to 200.
F4 and then probably a 2.8.
I assume an F4 and 2.8, but why did they not put it down? Is it because
It's a
not an
secret.
F4 and F2.8?
Well, that's because Panasonic lost out on the F and the dot, so they couldn't put the F 1 point something there or 2 point something. They didn't get permission from the L-mount Alliance.
Oh, okay.
L-mount Alliance.
And Panasonic says they'll be developing 10 lenses for the system by 2020. There's also Leica's existing lineup, but it's insanely priced. It's like $5,000 a lens.
Can you see anybody buying a Panasonic camera to be a photographer, to be honest with you right now?
Well, give it till 2020 when they have 10 lenses in the lineup. That's not bad at all.
We'll look back in 2020.
Remember what you said about Sony a couple years ago.
I know what I said about Sony, but this is Panasonic.
They've got the GH5 series. They're
Yeah,
killing
nobody
Micro Four
cares about the
Thirds.
GH5. All those GH5
okay.
shooters are just so... They just get so over the top thinking that it's the greatest camera since sliced bread.
For
Any
video,
camera
it
that you
is.
but you shoot it doesn't matter. You're putting the shit onto YouTube. You're putting the shit onto Instagram, and people just get way too anal over this stuff anymore. And
You mean boofed?
Yeah, you could shoot a picture. You know.
I'm talking more about video for the GH5 and 5S.
I know what you're talking about. I'm just getting angry just to be angry.
That's weird.
You know, Mount Alliance. It just reminds me of that new tripod that got announced at Photokina.
Yeah. Did they talk about it at Photokina?
The new tripod.
The Devil's tripod?
The Devil's tripod.
Oh,
Yeah.
that tripod.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, will these new cameras, will they use the Z6 and Z7 sensors? A lot of people are speculating that they are the same sensors because they're the same megapixel.
Well, that would mean that they're buying them from Sony. So
And Sony's just
Sony
cashing out,
manufactures
man.
them. It's just like Sony's like, hey, Apple and Samsung and everybody else, hey, put more cameras in your phones. Like, instead of 2, why don't we try 4? Because each one of those needs a sensor. Do you know who was ahead of their time?
Who?
Thinking about it?
Mount Alliance.
Kodak. Kodak was ahead of their time. Do you
remember?
Well, I was gonna be like, do you from the
Do you
Wayne
realize
Coyne.
flaming
yeah
lips?
flaming
Yeah.
lips? No, there was a camera that Kodak came out with that had 2 lenses and 2 sensors. One
Like
up
a
was at
stereo?
the top, which was wide angle, and the one at the bottom would switch to was the telephoto. So it didn't zoom or move; it just switched from one sensor to the other. I remember that when I was at
Basically
Rick's
what Apple's
Camera.
doing now, yeah.
Well, but in a phone, it was in a camera at the time.
Yeah.
I don't really recall that it did well. You know why? Because it wasn't part of.
I don't remember it, so I assume it didn't do well.
It wasn't part of the.
Mount Alliance.
God, I can see the comments now.
They're going to love that.
Fire Todd. Fire Todd.
Yep. Todd's the worst.
That's the worst.
Speaking of the worst, did you see the comment I posted yesterday? Somebody left
Mount Alliance.
about. Well, there were 2 comments. There was one that somebody left about Dan, which was kind of funny. Let me see if I could have
Wait,
it.
this is referring to the Z7 unboxing,
Yeah, the Z7
correct?
unboxing. Here it goes. Definitely proven to be an a-hole. They're talking about me.
Sounds about right.
Which is already true anyway.
Which is definitely true.
Definitely true.
Yeah.
You
With facts.
you drop stuff on the floor for your fellow man to pick up, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Also
wow.
fact.
Grab a bunch of subscribers and humility goes out the window. You need to jump out and find it, SMH.
Shake my head.
It was a... Nope. It was serious. I really meant it for Dan to pick up.
You're allowed to do whatever you want when you're a part of.
Mount Alliance.
So the other comment which I posted and replied to, which was this one, which is really a good comment, was, I've watched many of your videos over the years. I've disliked every single one of them probably.
That was me.
Way
That you got my
That was you,
email
Todd?
then. That's my
Oh.
comment? Yeah,
Yep.
that's my comment.
way too blah, just blah, and then some more blah. I don't know if all your videos are trying way too hard to be funny,
Sounds about right.
but they feel like 30 seconds of photography content stuffed with 12 minutes of random noise. So
That's exactly
fact.
your format.
I had to comment. I had to comment back, and I said, thanks for adding to my view count for all these years.
you commenting back is the
Oh.
worst. Things you say.
The things
I
you
like
say.
commenting back
You
when
gotta
people...
be careful about the things you say. You're going to get kicked out of.
Mount Alliance.
What can we get an FBI background check on that though?
Yes.
Don't overuse the sound effect, Todd.
Well, Steven, you gave it to me. So
All right,
Every
you're up.
5
You're up,
seconds.
Steven.
Mount Alliance.
That's it.
Well, the big question I want to ask is, will this shake up the industry? Will there now be another competitor like the L-Mount Alliance
No.
coming into play?
Mount
You don't think this
Alliance.
will now be a Sony, full frame-wise, Sony, Nikon, Canon, Panasonic game now?
Where's Fuji, Steven? How come you
Fuji
always
doesn't-
forget?
How
I just
dare
said-
you? How
Fuji does-
dare you,
I said
Steven?
full frame only.
But what about medium format?
I said full frame. Fuji decided to skip that. So in terms of full frame,
Do I think?
Pentax too, I forgot
No,
about them.
I can't see this Panasonic working. And if you think about what they talk about, that it doesn't have PDAF. It doesn't have PDAF, which is
What's PDAF?
Phase Detect AF.
Oh.
Thanks for watching the news.
Yeah.
It doesn't have PDAF. Focus is going to be a problem.
Well, it
They
seems
are so far behind everybody else in this technology.
it seems to me it's going to run into the same issues that the GH5 currently has for autofocusing.
Don't say
It's-
anything bad about the GH5, Steven. Those
Hey,
GH5
hey,
people,
hey.
I didn't say anything.
they would love to love their GH5. And if you say any other camera takes good video, they're like, no, the GH5 is the best ever. How about those crop sensor lenses, people?
Although, you know,
I
when you're
have a
shooting Super
personal,
35
I mean, I have
anyway,
a
it's
personal
almost the same
affection
thing.
for Panasonic because, you know, I used to shoot the DVX 100 and an HVX 100 back in the day. I shot my first movie with a lens adapter on an HVX 100.
What movie was that? Right and Wrong?
Well, left, right, but yeah, that was close. But I mean, you know, so I don't know.
Is it available on Netflix yet?
No, I don't think so. I just transferred the entire project from an old like USB drive onto a Thunderbolt drive because apparently.
Why don't you just release it for free onto YouTube?
But-
Not on your channel, on your
No,
daughter's,
no,
because she
we're-
gets more views than you.
Definitely.
She's past 50,000 subscribers
We
now.
reached
She's
that last week.
surpassed you.
Yeah,
quite a long time ago.
Anyway, I have an affection for Panasonic, and I think a lot of video people do, but I don't know about
course they do.
photography.
I personally think this S1, if it is like an A7 III or something like that, it's going to be that full frame GH5 that people have wanted for years, and that's a big deal.
But it's not a GH5.
It's a full frame.
But how's it going to be a full frame GH5? It's not going to give you all the 10-bit internal and all that stuff.
You know who you need to call?
4K 60p full frame?
L-Mount Alliance.
I don't know. What is the... Can somebody explain to me the point that what makes 4K 60p so much better than 4K 24?
Well, it depends if you want to slow it down. There's a lot of extra options you can, a lot more things you can do with the footage.
What I don't understand is why people broadcast in 60 frames. Is the worst thing you could do is
I mean, I prefer 24 frames per second for that cinematic effect.
Like
which is
our
what
show.
We're shooting right now 1080 24p for the live stream, but we normally shoot 4K 24, and I think that looks great. I like it a lot, but it all depends.
on what, Steven? To
I'm
each their
saying
own.
4K
I mean,
60
people
if you want to slow
like
it
their
down.
sports shows in at 60p.
But that's
Yeah.
sports.
Yep, sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't
That's
need their
always good.
podcasts in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's it for photo news.
Yeah.
Unless you want to continue the discussion about
Well, no, I had
Panasonic,
some
but
other another thing that's just been chewing at me for a
Oh,
minute.
boy. Here we go.
what's that? Here we go.
Just the
Wait for it.
camera
Hold on.
reviewing. There is so much new gear, especially with Photokina and right before Photokina.
There's a ton this
It's-
year. I think the most that there's ever been released at once.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got new systems from Nikon, new systems from Canon. You've got a
From
ton of stuff
every-
from Fuji.
except Sony
ton of
for
stuff
once.
from Panasonic. Sony had some huge announcements that they were announcing 12 new lenses soon. Literally, that
Yes.
was the announcement. 12 new lenses
That's all they said.
soon.
They said nothing else.
We
I
have an
didn't even bring it up.
announcement about an announcement.
Literally, what they did is they had an event where they just brought cats, and then everybody could just pet the cats. But no,
You would love that.
we're in such an interesting position where we are today as a channel because we review cameras, but I don't want to be a reviewer of cameras. I want to be a photographer who so happens to use cameras and then gives my opinions on them, which is what I did.
I mean, that's
all
what
of
we
this.
do with
That's what we
reviews,
do.
yeah.
Yes, but that's what I want to stay doing. I don't want to get stuck in the, I want to test this camera versus this camera, and let's do it side by side scientifically. We can save that for the DP reviews of the world. I just get very upset.
Although people love the comparison stuff. They do.
But people need to stop worrying about it. I know it's a big expenditure. Spending $3,000 or $3,300 on a body like this Z7. I get it. Like, totally understand that it's a big expenditure. But you start worrying about every subtle nuance, and then what happens is you never make a decision, you paralysis of analysis it, and you never go out and you actually shoot.
But if I was a current buyer of a new camera, I want to know what's better, the A7 III, the Z6, the S1.
Whatever you shoot
the
with
Canon
is going to
EOS
be
R.
better.
Yeah, but I'm spending $2,000. That's a big investment,
I
especially
got it.
someone upgrading.
But once you own it, then shut the hell up and stop bitching that when somebody says something positive about another camera or something negative about your camera, stop being like,
Of course,
The reason I
but-
say this is when I was looking for the D2H back in the day, waiting for that to come out.
Yeah.
Before Frono's Photo, this was a camera that it was $3,600 I think I had to buy it for. And it was my first DSLR.
First, like, big camera.
Yeah. Well, no, the F5 was my first big
How
camera.
much was that when I-
$1999.99 or 96.
Okay, so that's a big... Yeah.
I saved up money. I did a photo shoot in that summer that was a 2-week shoot in Florida, and that check that I got from there went right to buying that camera.
Yeah.
For 1996, 95 or whatever.
It's
the
scary,
hell it
right?
was.
Buying a camera for that expensive the first time.
I don't know. I guess
You
it's
have-
just
you
I
saved
lived
up
at
for it,
home.
yeah.
I did. I saved it. I saved up for it.
It's not like now where it's just jump change.
Nah,
You know,
now we
all
just
your $100 bills
exactly in
Yeah,
my
well,
in my Ridge wallet.
in your Ridge wallet.
I bought the camera.
Yeah.
Because I was a Nikon shooter. I already had lenses for it. I didn't need an adapter, and I would just shoot. And then what would happen is I would go read DP Review's review. I didn't buy it because of DP Review's review, and I wasn't not going to buy it because of DP Review's review. But it was a 4.1 megapixel. They called it a J-FLET sensor. It was Nikon developed, and somebody else, probably Sony at the time, made it. And they're like, well, there's a lot of noise in the shadow area, and it's not very good, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just like, but I used that camera for years on jobs and shot, and nobody comes up to you ever and was like, yeah, is that the D2H that DP Review said had too much noise in the shadows? Because the pictures that you just gave me, they're just subpar because of that.
I mean, the only people saying that are photographers.
And they
They're
need
the
to
only people that
stop.
yeah.
Need to stop.
I
And
shot with the 60D forever.
yeah, well, your shit sucked, but including the beginner guide to getting out of auto.
Whoa, 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 whoa. And why? And if anybody's interested,
FronosPhoto.com/guides to check out all the guides. There's codes and stuff up there for you. If you haven't purchased anything, go ahead and do that.
But the new Panasonic cameras, we'll see if, I mean, it's another camera to review.
Yeah,
Especially when
if
they're
they
saying
send
it's stills, it's a hybrid shooter. And
I have
one
no
is
problem
specifically for
shooting it.
stills.
I have no problem shooting
Yeah.
anything, and
I've never used the GH5 for stills.
No.
I've only used it for video.
we still have a GH5S downstairs, don't we?
We have it upstairs. It's GH5, not the S.
Yeah, I didn't ask for it. They just sent it,
They
right?
just sent it, and
And
we haven't
it's
sent it
been
back
sitting
yet.
here for how long now?
9 months.
At least. It
At
could have
least.
had a baby.
Yeah.
And it did. It had an S1. I am
you go.
funny as hell. But if we, like, I'm all for shooting everything. I just don't want to don't want to go down and the path of, like, everything's a test. I don't want to test the shit out of everything because that's not what I've set out to do when I started this. You know, and so we've done tests along the way. My whole thing is do a review, share your thoughts on how I personally shoot is what I like to do. Like, so I don't shoot base ISO 100 all the time. That's just not my thing. I bump it. So that's how I use it in the real world. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to give you the files and then let you make a decision for yourself whether you like it or not.
Remember when we did the Nikon 7200 comparison and how much we realized the difference between the two lenses?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge...
I hated that video.
I love that video.
I know. You like doing side-by-sides.
Because
and
it
hate doing
proves
that.
how much better that new lens is and how much it is
well, let
worth.
Steven do the side-by-sides.
I mean, I could do more of the scientific stuff for you, and you can... I mean, that's kind of what we've always done at
Will
this
you put a
point.
lab coat on, though, for that? Please.
Dr. Steven.
Please.
But I've always tested a lot of those things out because I know you don't like doing that, and then you've always just taken
Talked
photos.
about it.
Talked about it.
Yeah. And I take the photos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to doing the real-world review of this bad boy.
We found ourselves a lot this week mixing specs up with the Canon EOS R, the A7 cameras. There's so many new cameras out right now, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, you just don't remember what specs go to what camera
No.
at this point.
Yeah.
You want to move on to that next thing, teasing what we're going to tease?
Yeah.
How does this work? Because I didn't set it up. You set it up.
So we're going to talk about presets.
Presets.
We've been working on these for quite a while.
I hate presets. Was
Perfect
my
way to
motto
introduce
for a long
this.
time.
Yeah, great. I've created a lot of different presets in Lightroom Classic CC, tested them on all kinds of different cameras from older models, newer models, different brands, underexposed, overexposed, tried to really see and set a general preset for each specific preset that I have. And they work really well, I think.
And my freaking black and white Boomify preset
Your
is on
Boomify
fire.
is on fire.
I never. It was like. I get it. Oh man, it was on fire. It's just insane when you go through and you hit the button. It's like, damn it, it looks good.
So we've got about 10 right now, roughly, maybe a little more. Still debating which ones to use and which ones not to
And we're
use.
going to have cool names for all of them.
Yes.
We already have some really cool names that we're not going to tell you about right now.
I wish I could,
But this will be coming out in the future. And don't forget, Frovertime's coming up, so you can ask all your questions during Frovertime about this. But yeah, it's going to be 10, 12-ish presets in a pack so that you can use these presets.
Yeah, we've tested them out, like I said, thoroughly on a lot of different things.
Can we show 'em?
Yeah, we actually got to look down here. So, Dan, if you want to roll that first one, this is more of that. You can. This is before and then
Before?
after. This is more of that rustic style, old school film look that I'm going for. You can go to the next one, Dan. This is one of the presets we're working on for that older look, before and after.
Oh,
again.
it's so muted.
And
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's-
hate
Jared
muted
will hate
so
all of
much.
mine because a lot of them are.
I don't
muted.
hate all yours. No, so the thing is, the world doesn't revolve around me, Steven. There's other
doesn't?
people. who like other styles.
It's crazy.
It's not just my 2 styles.
That's
You actually
weird.
were all about it. You're like, yeah, dude, do the muted look.
I'm like, do the muted look and call it something that we won't tell you what it's called right now.
Oh,
We're
boy.
naming it
Shoot
after
muted.
another person.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorites too. You can do before and after, Dan.
Her name was Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. This is actually during the Nikon shoot. This specific look works better on in outdoor environments, more green environments, that type of look. It's hard to see right now with you, Jared, but this one, if you go before and after, this one I really like as well. Man, I wish I could say the names to describe them better.
Where's the after?
Right there, after.
Oh,
You're looking on a 6-inch monitor, so it's really hard to see.
yeah.
And this is before and after as well. This one gives a nice teal look to it. I really like this look.
Yeah.
Give me that before and after again. Yeah, that one I really prefer. And then the next one, Dan, we've got, this one's more of a brownish tint in the split tone area. It works very well for slightly overexposed images. Go that next one, Dan. I think it works really well for like a portrait like this inside the studio. This one you recently took, right?
Yeah, I took that with the EOS R in California when I was staying in LA. I do want to remind you guys of one thing with presets that you do have to understand
Yes,
is that
I want to make this clear too.
we can't determine the exposure for your photo.
Yeah.
So the exposures are always going to be at 0 for the presets.
Yep.
So what I've seen with my my Boomify preset is that I always tend to, not always, because the images we're going to show here, actually I didn't have to change my exposure because it was spot on, but I tend to bump my exposure a quarter to a half a stop, sometimes a little more depending on the situation I'm in. So it may look dark to you when it starts, but then you just need to just tweak the exposure a little bit. These are starting points.
Exactly.
And they're not ending points, but they
Some-
could be ending points on some images.
But that was the testing that we went through, was trying to make it almost a start and ending point at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's what the goal is, to try and just one click and done. But again, for the most part, for most people, it's going to be, depending on exposure, it may work right away, or you might have to go through 50 images and that one image might just pop. That look might, that
Yeah.
preset will work and it will just.
let's get to
go the
those
next
other
one.
ones. Are we up to mine yet?
We're getting there.
That is good. I like that picture, though.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I put yours in here now that I think of it.
You didn't put mine in there,
I
Steven.
think I forgot.
How did you forget? Can you go put them in there while I talk?
Or
would that ruin
That
things?
might ruin something, yeah. I
Oh,
think
well-
I totally
Well,
forgot.
save them for next week. We
Thanks.
showed
Yeah, we can
Jared's
save 'em for
next
next
week.
week.
Thanks for showing my Boomifies.
So this one, I really like this specific look. This is actually, yeah, Dan, show that. And then go to the next one, Dan. This next one was actually taken on my phone, and we're making these work also for Lightroom Mobile, which is going to be really cool. This was a DNG on my phone that we just tweaked. And this reminds me of like an old school film, like 70s era
There were
film look.
way more people in that picture than you're showing.
Yeah.
Way more picture.
This one's
Way
going
more
to be
people.
more of a vibrant look to it, more of a landscape type shot. more,
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. That might be the name.
Not the name.
So, yeah, this one I really like.
Well,
If you
that's
really want
cool.
to add a
Look at
lot of
that.
color into it, a lot of contrast. And then the next one, this one's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. This one will
It's
work.
not called Peaky Blinders.
It's not called Peaky Blinders. But I love this shot. You took this shot.
I took that in a room in London.
Yeah.
In
This one I did
Kensington.
a lot of split toning
It was
too.
Kensington, at the Kensington Hotel.
I did a lot of custom calibration to the
Was there
process.
heroin there as well?
No, there's Bentleys and,
Dan, go to that
and
next one.
Ferraris.
So you'll notice there is a vignette added, but we will have presets so you can apply the preset and no vignette will be added. I personally like a lot of vignetting, but I know people don't like that. So we will have options for the preset and then the preset without the vignette.
So what I like about these presets, what I like is it's interesting to see the same image with 4 different presets that work.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be selling them at some point soon. We got to package it all up. We've been testing them out, making new ones.
Yeah,
And it's for
it's been a
people
while.
that would like to have a starting point. Just understand, my main hatred of presets has always been for the fact that a lot of people think it's one button and done. It's not one button and done. You need to go in there and tweak a little bit. Some of the images are going to look almost perfect right off the rip, and that's fine, especially if you use my black and white Boomify. Now, but my black and white Boomify won't work in super dark situations because it's just super contrasty and it crushes everything.
We'll definitely have recommendations based on, this might work better in a overcast day look in a green environment. This might look better in a concert environment. This might look better underexposed. So it all depends. Some of mine look better with like a blue sky, like a nice bright sunny day.
bright sunny
Dan, is that
day.
it, or is there still some more? I don't remember. That is it? Yeah. So yeah, that's the presets. I did forget to put
Thanks,
yours in.
Steven.
It was right before the show. I'm
You know what
sorry.
people say about that?
But everyone's seen your Boomify look.
One job.
Yeah.
One
bad.
job.
One job. You are out of the...
Todd, where's that sound effect at?
L-Mount Alliance.
Thank you for removing him from the...
L-Mount Alliance.
All right, so we're going to get over to Frovertime in just a minute after I clap my hands. Steven, do you have anything else to add?
Like Jared's photos?
Oh, shit. Good one.
I'm never gonna hear the last of that.
That's better than being out of focus.
But he did
Yeah.
remember to give me.
All right.
I did remember that.
So,
You can follow me on all social medias. My handle is S_Eckert. Instagram, everything.
how's your Squarespace doing?
It's doing great. Yep.
Nice,
Perfect.
nice,
Nailed
nice.
that.
Todd?
You can follow me at I am Todd Wolf on all the socials,
soch.
if you will.
Dan?
He always looks
Exactly.
like one of those owl cameras that are up in the trees. Like what?
I think we are going to get Dan a microphone with a mute
No.
button, but it will be on mute at all times unless we ask him.
Rhode's going to send us a microphone?
Do I get
we'll see.
do I get the mute button for that? I guarantee he
Yeah,
will
let the
not shut.
How about
up.
this? We'll let the people in the comments vote. Would you rather have Todd have a mute button on himself
Oh,
or Dan have a mute button?
Man, shots fired.
how dare
All right,
you?
so you want to follow me on Instagram? It's at Jared Poland. Do not fall for the fakers out there. If it doesn't have a blue check mark, it's not me. So we're going to come up on Frovertime after my hands clap. This has been RAWtalk episode 252. Thank you very much for watching. Now, let's move over to Frovertime.
L-Mount Alliance.
All right, let's keep talking while I get my stuff going. So, guys, start getting those comments in here for us to look at. Get those super chats up and going.
Just remember, if you have a question, please put question in all caps, colon, and then your actual question.
No super chats as of right meow.
I love that that's the first thing you check.
Well, no, it just was what was up on my screen. So I'm going to pop out the chat.
we were over 1,000 for most of the show.
Here we go.
Nice.
We got, thank you to everybody who's watching. It says 1,056.
L-Mount Alliance.
No more L Mount Alliance. I need to scroll down here. If I had one choice, one lens, one wedding photography, I don't know. The STF
Great
button.
answer.
A9 II anytime, we know nothing, but I would say you're probably a year away from an A9 II.
You think? It's already been, what, 2?
It's over 1 year. It was April, so it's a year and a half.
Year and a half.
So
okay.
I think you're at least a year and a half away.
Yeah, we'll see.
Need a D850 versus Z7 comparison video. We
I
will
agree.
do a side-by-side video. We will put it on the desk and do that.
Oh, you want to
type,
do comparison videos?
where I just get to stand at a desk and we can use the reviews from the past to make it look good.
We have a lot of comparison videos we have to do at the table downstairs.
We do. And a user's guide for the Z7 as well.
A user guide for every camera. Yeah. How much will Fro presets be? We don't know
Hey
yet.
guys, what
we haven't talked about that.
what price do you think the preset should be? Type them in the thing. And I'm legitimately, what would you want to pay for a preset?
Yeah, what's
with-
too high, what's too low?
With 12-ish presets in there. I think we have ideas for that.
Yeah. Hashtag give Dan a mic. Hashtag give Dan a chance.
Somebody says that they saw a I Shoot Raw sticker on a Nissan Xterra. That's cool in Texas.
Where is the 90D? That is a good question. I thought we would see that maybe at
Who,
Photokina.
Canon?
Yeah.
Wait.
80D is 2 years old now, maybe more.
Request from Joaquin Nolasco. $15 USD if you critique... Wait, you already paid me, so I don't have to critique your stuff. If you critique my first wedding album in under 90 seconds. Well, we're live on the air.
It's a little hard to do.
It would be hard to do unless you can post your comment as a link, but I don't think you can do that.
Someone said, "Where did you get that shirt, Steven?" I got this actually when it happened on a Facebook ad. That's all I can say. It was a random Facebook ad.
Funny.
They got me good.
Question, would you make a video showing how you make this show? I'm a big fan. I think we've done it behind the scenes.
We have and we haven't. Like, we have never really showed the switcher
Right.
and what it can do and how we set everything up in terms of plugging
Oh,
in.
you know what's funny? Somebody says mute Jared, but you know what's great about this? I have a button right here
Don't
that
do
I
it.
can go.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Put user in timeout. Lucardo Cardoso, muted by Jared Polin for 100 seconds. I recently
Dang it.
moved and can't find my guides. Is there a way to get them replaced? Yes, Mike, send me an email to support@fronosphoto.com with the email that you used to purchase it, and I will be able to resend you the links. How's that sound, Steven?
Sounds good. Does the D850 still make sense? I shoot a lot of photos, some video, was getting ready to buy it, but is the DSLR dead? Should I go with the Z7? Great question. I think everyone is asking the same question. We haven't really tested out the Z7, so it's hard to say right now.
It is so hard to say right now. It is very
wait
hard
for
to
our
say.
review. That's all I can say. We'll see.
If I send you caps to make you have bald heads, would you do a RAWtalk? Oh, I'm not reading that.
By the way, Halloween episode is probably coming up soon.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Your favorite.
Yeah.
Jared likes to figure out what he's wearing like 10 minutes before the show.
Yeah. Hey, Jared and team, I would like to upgrade my lens. I'm using the 18 to 135 on a Canon 80D. Question, which lens do you recommend? I photograph mainly portraits and urban landscapes. My budget is $600 to $1,000. Thanks. I mean, that's tough. Like, I like a 70 to 200 for portraits. It's versatile. And you have an 18 to 130. For that money, I would try to find a used Tamron G2 70 to 200. That's what I'd say.
1DX Mark III question mark. That one's also almost 3 years. It is 3 years old, I think, at this point.
MJ Adams says, and he's probably being me right here, I hate presets. Oh, I can make money off presets. How much will you pay?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we can make money off of presets because people have been asking for years to get my freaking black and white preset. So, you know what? Give the community what they want. I may not purchase presets myself, but a lot of people want to. So,
but I also think you realized when we were creating these presets how easy it is to use these presets and how much they come in handy all the time.
Yes. Still looking for questions. Steven's hair.
Did you ever want to quit when you were starting out, Jared?
This or what?
I don't know.
YouTube?
Probably YouTube, I assume he means.
No,
From
not
John.
really. I just kept going. I had nothing else in life to do, so I just kept making videos. I still have nothing left in life else to do.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's really changed in the 8 years.
Z6, Z7 video AF with FTZ. We haven't really tested it out yet. Again, any Z7 or Z6 questions are going to have to be left for the review.
We've answered this one a million times, but hey, Jared Polin, what should I do if I'm in a photo slump and my motivation isn't there anymore? I just study old photo books.
Yeah.
That's all I ever do is I take a look at old photo books, and that really brings inspiration back. Seeing what the masters did before us with much less than what we have was incredible.
I always like to look at old calendars to kind of remind me of like what I used to do.
What'd you do on Sunday the 23rd in 1983?
Had some skis with my boys.
Skiing with your boys.
Yeah, I had some skis.
Oh, I thought you were doing lines of coke.
Nope.
Someone asked, how do you light your RAWtalk stage, this RAWtalk setup? We actually have a lot of Kino flows. I wish there was, well, Dan has a behind-the-scenes shot, actually, you can probably try and cut to, if possible. Sorry. Yeah, you can see Todd's lit up with a 4-bank Kino flow, also a 2-bank onto camera right. And then we here are set up with 2 4-banks, and we also have a lot of accent lighting above us. We have gels above us, which
Roscoe
are
gels.
dimmed as well, and we have them pointed directly to the back. And I mean, there's a lot of little lights that we have set up, but it's quite a setup.
Thomas Gunn says, "Hey Todd, I know you're a fan of old school hip hop. So am I. Do you dig any of the newer rap artists? If so, what are you listening to? Favorites?"
Something newer. I like Prime.
Yeah, who?
Prime.
Optimus?
Yes. No, it's Premiere and Rhymefest. It's a group.
Yeah.
I like them. Yeah.
Noise. What else?
Question: where is #FroTodd? I think he'll come back for Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks for your honesty. You're welcome. He gave me $1.99. Thank you for your honesty. Give Dan a mic. #.
Question, what does Dan do? Dan edits a lot of our videos. He also switches for us live when we do the show. Dan does a lot. We all do a lot.
Somebody goes, question, do you you still think it's worth starting an Instagram page as a photographer nowadays? Because I honestly feel like it's a waste of time. No, it's not a waste of time. I mean, so you got to ask yourself, what's the point? Like, are you just looking to share your work with the world, or are you looking to just be like an influencer? If you're just looking to be an influencer, I mean, that's going to be a hard row to hoe. That is a term, a hard row to hoe.
Never heard it.
A hard road to hoe.
Yes.
Meaning it's a hard road, and when you had to hoe it, it was a hard road to hoe with a hoe.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Corners are even harder to hoe.
Any news on the replacements for the D5 or D500? Nope, nothing at all, to be honest with you.
That's been 3 years too, right? Has it been 3 or 2 years?
Let me check my gear vault, Steven.
Dan,
was
why
CES.
is Dan in the comments, by the way, when he's supposed to be working?
Is that why he's not switching very well?
Exactly.
Ah, that makes sense.
Trying to hashtag give Dan a mic. That's bull.
So I bought my D5 on January 1st. That's March 26, 2016. It's coming up on, oh shit.
3 years. It's coming
Holy
up on
shit.
3 years.
Yeah, they usually have an S by now.
I think they skipped the S.
I think they're going to skip an S and just go mirrorless.
Will they go mirrorless for the D6 at this point, or will they have two different lines?
I think it's going to be called the Z6.
And also, what will they call it? Will they call it like the Z10 because they're going up instead of down?
I think they're going to call it the Z00. So it could be called the Zedu.
Exactly.
Killed that one.
Here's a question. When's the next episode of Fro Knows Movies?
2014.
Man, this guy's been around for a while. Steve Holt. Yeah,
Hard
it's
road
been
to
a
hoe.
while.
It's a farming term.
Yeah.
Jared, shave your fro. No.
It's a row
Oh,
to
somebody-
hoe. It's a row to hoe.
No, it's a road to hoe.
It's a hard row to hoe.
They're saying row, not road.
It's a row, not road.
You're saying road.
No, it's a hoe. I mean it.
You're saying it's a
Oh, a row, like a, row
row.
of
Like a row of
Correct.
corn.
Now
Yeah.
it makes
like
more
a row of
sense.
corn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Makes way more sense.
I'm getting
now.
my old terminologies
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, see, good question here. Do you know any websites that's not Craigslist or eBay to sell your cameras? One day I'll have somewhere to tell you.
It is hard to find. Yeah.
I would like to create something for that.
And the marketplace with Facebook is the same way. It's a little sketchy.
Best full frame entry level lenses? Whatever you can get.
Is it even worth buying a DSLR? Again, got to wait till our mirrorless reviews come out.
What's the best 25 megapixel camera? I don't know. I don't even worry about megapixels, to be honest with you. Miss the rapid fire critiques. One day, what alliance did they form again?
I love how Todd jumps up out of his seat.
L-Mount Alliance.
Hard road to hoe is completely different.
See?
Yeah, we're looking.
Jared's so confident, too. He's like, what, you don't understand it?
We do want to do the selling inside the app. We'll figure it out one day. What happened to rapid fire critiques? We've been focused on different types of content that actually get watched more. But one day I'll bring back the critiques.
Thoughts on new Sigma lenses? I think they're pretty great. Sigma's killing it with the art lineup. They have almost every single focal length you can think of at this point, from 14 all the way to 200.
Yeah.
It's great.
Um,
RAWtalk anytime soon? Probably not. It's been a minute, right, Todd?
Well, we did get a new sponsor, though.
L-Mount Alliance.
Somebody loves us from Canada. Thank you, Hearth North Media. Or does that say Heard? Head North. My eyes deceived me like hard road to hoe.
Are you going to review any of the Fuji medium format cameras?
I don't know. They seem to send them to everybody else but us.
Well, hopefully we'll get the XT3.
No, I don't
soon.
care about the XT3.
Said no.
I don't
never.
care about anything Fuji, Steven. Let those commenters start commenting about
we
how
go.
amazing Fuji is.
Here we go.
Fuji's the best ever.
Is the A7R3 good for weddings?
Sure.
Yes, definitely yes. That high resolution sensor is incredible, especially with paired with eye autofocus.
Well, here's a question. So all four of you do quite a lot. So do you think it's time to employ someone else, female possible, to get a female point of view? I've tried to have females on the show, like way back. We had Leora. When RAWtalk started initially, Leora was on the first.
She was
She was the sidekick.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, Leora's a female who actually has cameras tattooed on her. Let's get her point of
Leora,
view.
yeah, she's
it just
awesome.
became more difficult for her to get into the city.
Yep.
All those times to come into the city to do the show, especially when it was so small and it wasn't anything. No, it's not my fault. I'm Jewish, but she wasn't a part of the L Mount Alliance.
And then we had Maria as our model.
Oh,
She was
Maria
never
was
really-
modeled. She moved to LA.
Yeah, she was more just talent for us and modeling.
So I mean, then we got Dan.
I wish we had
And
that.
now we have
video.
Dan.
So I mean, it's the same thing.
My Gear Vault Marketplace? Yes, one day. One day. Really? Hey,
What?
Thomas Gunn, how long have you been watching my videos?
What does that mean?
I think that's going all the way back, like
Can I
8
say it?
years. I think so.
Hashtag Mandy Patty? I have no idea what that means.
I believe
that
there was a
before my
girl
time
who
here.
used to watch named Mandy Patty.
That's funny.
It was like way. Thomas, tell me if I'm right or wrong on that. But that was like 8 years ago stuff. Jim Brennan Photography, nude team calendar.
I mean, Jared already
I'm
takes
all
his shirt
for it.
off every 5 seconds, so just take a screenshot.
You are Jews? Oh, great.
Great
Thanks.
comment, Phoenix.
That's a great comment.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks,
Also,
man.
not true. Not true.
What are the best 5 lenses? Oh, look, Manny Ortiz is here.
What's up, Manny?
He should be working right now.
We had a great photo shoot with Manny. Speaking of Jared taking his shirt off,
I did post some pictures of that.
that was fun.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up in a couple minutes. Give Dan a mic. We will not, Daniel.
Thank you. That's
He
his
goes,
son,
yes,
by the
sir.
way.
I've been watching your content since just about day 1. That's a long time.
Wow.
What about
what
what
is
about
wrong
Noah?
with
That's
you?
awesome.
What about Noah? Doesn't get a mic either.
Noah.
Some throwbacks today. Why don't we just get Sutter in there too?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What? Did somebody mention my name? No. Hello.
No, it's not Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, Noah.
Where did Steven get his hair cut?
My barber.
Supercuts.
Stephen Williams loves to comment about my hair like every freaking week. Thanks, man.
Oh, it's the same guy.
Every time.
Well, I just miss that one person that used to comment that used to love sending screenshots of you.
What do you have on the screen, Todd? Where did that come from?
Throwbacks.
What was it?
It was,
Picture of Meredith.
yeah, Meredith. What's your opinion on the manual focus guide in the EOS R? Do you think that'll make the old MF lenses easier to use? I do think it would be much easier to use, but I haven't personally tried it out just yet. And we've had the EOS R for quite some time. But I haven't really touched it yet, besides for video features and, yeah, I haven't used it.
Kyle Jackson sends us $2 Canadian, which isn't really enough to buy ice cream. He says, "Here's $2 Monopoly bucks to buy Dan an ice cream." Well, maybe at Murder Mart he could.
Oh, man, Murder Mart.
They probably have cheap ice cream. Hey, man.
Will we get to see the Fro
Yeah,
go
man.
gray? It's getting
Oh,
there.
I thought it said, I didn't see the R. I missed the R in that from this distance. I saw a guy
Any
with a
day now.
I saw-
Any day now.
I saw a guy with an I Shoot Raw shirt at an MA event. His son was fighting. Well, he got KO'd.
That was actually Jared.
What are your thoughts on do more of the photo challenges like the Leica in the park?
We'll have to get some gimbals for that next time because that was crazy to shoot handheld. That was
Next-
insane.
Next field trip, we don't really have one. You want to wrap it up, Steven?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, here's
close
5.
with the L mount sound effect.
Oh, and then wait, Kyle Jackson also gave us $5 Canadian to slap it out of his hand when he goes to lick it. Will the Z6 be a good camera for Astro? I think any camera can do Astro pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, they have that D810A and a couple of those. Isn't there like a 60DA or a 60A from Canon as well?
Yeah, A. and Nikon
With
had
the
a
sensors
D8.
made specifically for
10.
astrophotography.
Well, yeah.
Sony used to be star eaters. Now they're really not. I would go with something without an OLPF.
I prefer Rock Biter, Rock Eater, or whatever it was.
Hit it, Todd. L Mount Alliance.
L-Mount Alliance.
I don't know why it's so funny.
All right. All right, that's it. We're gonna get out of here. I already clapped my hands. So Dan, you want to get that thing up on the screen, guys? Wait, not yet. Thank you guys very much for watching and staying here. We'll be back at another point.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on the Instagrams, the YouTubes, the different things to see when we schedule another episode. Yeah.
I think that's it.
Todd, hit that thing. If you'd like to check out last week's RAWtalk, maybe I'll remember to put this in there.
Please do.
If you want to,
That's the best episode right there
if you want to
ever.
subscribe, you could subscribe. If you want more Frono's Photo, well, you know what to do. If you want to leave a comment about Fuji, definitely go ahead and hit a comment about Fuji, because we love Fuji. And to take us out, we've got a new song.
L-Mount